canonicity, what the short of it for me is when people like the story, it seems to be canon. When they don't, it doesn't seem very much to become canon. It doesn't. That's true when we were dealing with the old expanded universe. You'd have fans fighting for some, stories, not other stories. The only canonical thing back then was with if George Lucas did it.
Right.
It was very cut and dry. Now it's a bit more nebulous and everything's canon. And I just look at it differently. Do you like the story? Well, then it's canon, like for you. Like that's
Yeah.
good. I think that's fair. But we consider it all. People like to think that it is, they like to use the word policing a lot. I don't like to use that for this because it's a creative thing.
Yeah.
I think of it like a creative flow, and there's a Jedi Council, and it's like the way I look at directing. When I'm directing, I'm guiding the creative flow of everybody on the team, everybody on the set to try to achieve the best possible outcome for this story. If I've told the story well, if everybody knows the story, if we're all on the same page, that'll happen. And it's not about getting what I want, because what's going to happen is going to be the thing it should be, because I've guided it as a director and the team knows, and everyone has brought their particular skill and done the best they can with it and elevated it. Like, I don't imagine that what I wrote is the best thing it can be. The actor's going to add additional layers to it. Like Rosario is amazing to me because I thought, well, how do I do this character in live action? A character that I've drawn, that I've had such an animation control of everything, how do I relinquish that to this actor? And then she did a scene and I was like, okay, so that's going to be fine.
Really all of those sleepless nights are now just okay.
Yeah.
Done. Check that box.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ahsoka, let's kind of round out, because we've now answered that Dave Filoni is
I hope I've answered. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
No, you have, because
I never know if I answered the question.
You've
I heard
answered
I'm
the
really
question.
good at debating. So
no, because you clarified for us that Dave Filoni is not the police; he's a steward. He's the guide of this.
I think so. I mean, Star Wars, as George made it in his films, it's the wonderful thing. It's the core of it. When I need to remind myself of what I'm missing, I go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Or American Graffiti or THX. And I kind of like, right. I refocus. This is what my task is, because you bring your own expertise and bias into it, and that's fine. And we adapt that into Star Wars now, but I think we get to better ideas that way than if it was like a yes, no province, just saying yes to that, no to that. That's not interesting. I've learned over time, even if it's something I don't like as an idea, I want to hear why someone thinks that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And then we explore it, and sometimes it becomes a great idea. You never know.
Yeah. It's the Star Wars canon as jazz, not necessarily classical music. There's room for improvisation.
Right? It's wonderful with jazz. So
exactly.